All right, last time we got the chassis cut down, we got the body mocked up on it. It fits pretty good. Still have some major tweaking to do, but at least we're at a good starting point now. This go around, I want to mock up the engine and transmission just to see exactly how everything's going to fit and what modifications we're going to have to do. I also want to start making the body mounts so we can get this thing mounted. We can start doing body work on this colossal pile of rust. The hardest thing on this thing is trying to find a starting point. I have 9 inches from the end of the frame to the opening of this on this side and on that side, so I know this is pretty much squared away. I've got 7 3/4 inches from here to the frame, same on the other side. I'm sure this thing is tweaked a little bit. We're gonna have to do the best we can with it as far as lining it up and starting to make our body mounts. This body mount is solid here, even though it looks like it isn't. That one there is not, so we got to get another body mount for over there. I think this thing had 12 mounts on it totally or something. I think if we get at least 8 on this one solidly, we're gonna be good. I was just looking at trying to repair these fenders. Where do you even start on something like this? Where do you even start on something like this? This is just, I don't know. I don't even know if it'd be worth my time to try to straighten this thing out or try to make new ones. I mean, I don't even know if it's worth trying to. Look at this. But as I said before, you can't find them anywhere. I found one fender on eBay. The guy wanted like 500 bucks for it. It wasn't in that bad a shape, but it was rusty and you just can't find them. We're going to have to do the best we can do, and this is going to be an ultimate challenge for me. So I think where we're going to start is I'm going to blow the front end of this off. We're going to get the engine and transmission mocked in here, and then we will put the front clip back on with the radiator in there just to see where we are. I'm almost guaranteeing we're going to have to use an electric fan, but maybe not. We'll put the water pump back on the front of the engine and just to see where we're at as far as that goes. I got one here. This I believe is a long water pump. We may have to get a short one for it. We'll get it mocked in here and we'll see where we're at, man. Okay, we get the engine and transmission mocked up. Pretty much where she needs to be. I just got one bolt in on each side for now. These motor mounts fit exactly the way they did on the 46 Chevy. We're gonna have to do our own, drill our own holes. And I think I even trimmed the back of this plate off and drilled new holes here, drilled and tapped holes because they don't exactly, I mean, these things are slotted, but there's like 6 holes on the frame, but they all don't line up. So I'm assuming you have to kind of like tweak your own thing in here. Anyway, that's what I did last time, and that's what we're going to do this time. You can see how close we are. This is where our core support's going to be mounted. We have about probably just enough room for a radiator. I'm thinking we're going to get an electric fan to put it on the outside of the radiator. because it'll fit inside this little recessed area here. It won't look the greatest, but it'll work. Another issue we're gonna have, I'm pretty sure this was an issue on the 46 as well. The fuel pump does not fit in there. We may have to get the fuel pump block off plate and use an electric fuel pump for this as well. And as soon as we get the heads on, I can see this is going to be very, very similar to the issues we had with the 46, trying to fit a set of headers in there or a set of manifolds. If we have to put a few dents in a set of headers, sound like it hasn't been done before. We are making progress. The next step is to drop the body down and see how we are on this firewall where the distributor needs to go. We're going to need a little bit of clearance in that firewall for that distributor, but we're not going to know until we get the body set back down on it. So let's do that. Okay guys, we got her back down onto the body, pretty much where she's going to be. It looks pretty good. This is where we're going to mount our body in the front, 3.5 inches. I figured 3.5 inches is where we needed to be on that. The back centered pretty good. We're going to cut these mounts, like I said before, we're going to cut those mounts off and move them down because they're just about in line with each other. Just work our way from the back to the front, building our mounts. The engine sits in there pretty good. I'm a little concerned here. The core support, like I said, it's going to be tight. I don't think we're going to have an issue with the distributor. We can get, I've got the intake, we can throw the intake on and throw the distributor in just to make sure, but it looks like we're going to have some clearance there, so it's not going to be an issue. What I think we ought to do from here is throw the front clip back on, mount the radiator in there just to see, throw the water pump on, and then we can make a determination from there. You know, I'm quite certain we're going to need an electric fan. I don't think we're going to fit a regular mechanical fan in here. I want to make sure that the fenders go on, the grill goes on, and the hood fits properly. That would be a bummer if we did all that work, the hood didn't fit on. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and mock everything up, and if everything looks good, we'll start building body mounts in the back and work our way forward. Front clip is back on. There are a few issues that I think we need to address. One is this core needs to be dropped down, this radiator core. See how high it sits up. I think we notched it out here and over there and let it set down a little bit more. It would also close up this gap here. It already has somewhat of a notch in it here and here. We'll just have to make it a little wider so she sits down a little bit farther. Still catching on our steering box, but I can make clearance for that. That's not too much of an issue. Again too, the radiator is like, well, I'll just show you. This is the radiator I got for it. It's one of the smallest ones I could find. I don't think it's going to fit. I mean, we could make it fit on the core support, but it's hitting the pulley down there. So we have to make some adjustments. I don't know if I could cut the top of the shroud and recess it back in, top and bottom, so we can get it to actually sit inside there. Because there is a cavity inside, we could almost make it fit. That might be what has to happen here. Trimming this core support to recess this radiator inside. Mounting the fan on the inside here. Like I said, we got some room in here. So we just have to tackle these problems one step at a time as they come up. I think it's doable. We have a cutting wheel and a welder, so we could probably make that happen. I'm quite sure the hood's going to fit, but I'm curious to see, you know, how it's going to fit if we have to cut on this core support, where it's going to land. I should check that out. Well, it fits about as good as it did when I got it. But she's just beat up. We got a little tweaking to do. But yeah. I'm kind of feeling like we need to put some drop spindles on the front, because this is like four-wheel drive territory here. It's going to sit a little high, but that's a little too high. But as far as the frame chop goes, I'm pretty happy with that. Turned out pretty good. Good thing is we don't have to make a transmission tunnel. Looks like we're going to be good there. So I guess it's going to do it for today. We're going to call this mock-up somewhat successful. We got a lot of work to do, so we'll be back at it again tomorrow. Okay, so today we're going to start relocating and or fabricating body mounts for this thing. I want to start in the back with mounting this thing to the chassis, but before we do that, we have to drop this core support down, and I'm thinking I'm just going to cut the bottom of this out, drop it down. I'm thinking of putting a piece of square tubing to mount the support to, getting rid of this. Somebody had booger welded this all up on there. I think we're best off just to take this out, drop this down, get it to where it gets low enough to close up this gap. Maybe that'll allow us to drop the cab down a little bit farther to close up this huge four-wheel drive tire gap in the front. But I think this is our starting point. We're going to take this out. We're going to cut that off, reset it in there, and try to work from there to get the front of this cab where it needs to be. And hopefully we can close up some of this huge gap up here in the front. Well, I know it's not very precise using zip ties, but you can see that it did, I can't tell from that angle, but this angle you can see it did draw it down quite a bit. So I'm thinking we can probably lower that block. I still think it's got to come down more. It kind of looks like it. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be all right. I'd like to put a piece of square tubing across as a new support. I don't know that we're going to be able to get it to go down much farther. I think we can keep working with it till it gets tolerable. Got just a little bit of a gap here now still. I could probably draw that in. I think as long as the hood fits on there squarely, we'll throw the hood back on, make sure it fits right. And I think that we're probably going to be about as good as we're going to get. I think that gap could be just because the fender's bent. It's bent in this way. But I guess we're just going to have to build it as we go. We'll start in the back, start securing all the body mounts and work our way forward. All right, we got our mounts cut off the body. We got the truck blown apart again. Took the engine and transmission out. Got it marked out where our motor mounts are gonna go. We'll have to drill and tap those. I went and started cleaning up underneath in the wheel wells and stuff, just to get a jump on cleaning up some of this metal, so we can get a coat of undercoating in there or whatever. I've been using this Rust-Oleum Reform and Seal. Once that stuff sets up, we can go ahead and shoot a little bit of undercoating under there, just to kind of give a little protection to the metal that we're not cutting out. Of course, there's a lot of metal that we are cutting out. So what I'd like to do is continue to these are the rear mounts. We're just going to clean these up, get the body back down on the chassis where it needs to be, clean up these mounts and weld them in place where we need them. Front mounts will be a little more difficult. I think we're going to have to, maybe these are the front mounts that came off the front of the front here. I would like to be able to make them work. We're gonna have to figure out a way to clean this all up, put new metal in if we need to put new metal in, and then get the front of this mounted. 2 mounts in the rear, 2 mounts in the front, and then we can work our way in the middle, just fit them as we need them. I've got an aftermarket transmission cross member I was hoping to be able to use, but it's too short. I can't remember what I bought it for. I think I bought it for the 58 Apache or whatever, never used it. So I thought maybe to work in here. It will work if we add more metal to the sides, but I'm thinking maybe we can instead utilize the cross member that came out of here, try to fit that in place to see where that lands with this transmission here. Maybe it'd be easier to modify that than it will be to try to make that one fit. I don't know. I'm going to take it one step at a time, and let's get these motor mounts in. Okay, so we got our first mount made. It ain't pretty, but it will work. I use the mounts. I used the mounts that came off the chassis, and we turned it this way using this hole, and I used the leftover pieces of frame that I cut out to box it in on the sides. Weld it right back to the frame, and I think it'll work. Now I just got to do the other side. I used the old rubber mounts that came off the S10 because why not, right? Nothing wrong with them. They weren't rotted or anything, so we'll use them. I'm a little embarrassed to say that it took me better part of a day to make 2 body mounts, but they're done, and got a little undercoating on them, letting that dry. And in retrospect, I probably should have just made them from scratch. Would probably been a lot quicker, and then try to retrofitting what was on here, and we had to add metal, and oh my god. Anyway, we got the 2 back mounts done. I want to work on the front mounts next. This metal is just about shot, so I think we're gonna have to cut this out. This metal here is just gone altogether, so the surrounding metal isn't bad. It's just we got to make new base mounts for both sides, and we'll go ahead and get the rear mounted, the front mounted, so that the body is solidly on the chassis. I think we could probably start tackling some of this metal while this is open. I want to start maybe cleaning this firewall up, you know, do all this kind of stuff before we get the engine back in. I think it's going to be a long while of metal fabrication, if that's what you want to call it. We'll do these front mounts tomorrow and start cleaning up this firewall. We don't have to mess with this once the engine gets in. It'd just make it a lot easier to do it now. I'm thinking it's going to be a whole lot easier to actually cut these panels out so we can get them up on a table to work on them instead of trying to do it on the truck. It's just going to be next to impossible because of how this S10 frame was set up. We're not going to be able to get a gas tank back here, so we are going to take this out, put it on the other side. So my thoughts are to cut both these panels out and get them up on the table, and we can pull the filler neck out of that side, put it on this side. Because you can see we got a wide open frame to work with as far as sticking a gas tank in there on this side. Let the fun begin, man. I'll be honest, I'm not looking forward to it because my skill level is like probably maybe a 4 or 5 out of 10, which is not very good. But it's got to be done, and that's where we're headed now. We're going to get this body mounted tomorrow, work on the firewall first, then we'll cut these rear quarter panels out on both sides and go to doing something with them. I don't know. That'll do it for today, man. Whole lot of work to do tomorrow. All right, we're out here once again on the old 55 wagon. We got the rear mounts in. Like I told you all before, they ain't pretty, but they will work. So what I want to do now is we're going to go ahead and start working on the front mounts. Got to get these all cleaned up, cut out the bad metal. While we're at it, might as well start cleaning up this firewall. We may even have to, matter of fact, I know we will have to cut a hole for the new column, steering column. Get the rust off it, get some primer on it. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this vacuum operated piece of junk, wiper motor. We'll get an aftermarket electric one for it. It'll probably be mounted under the dash instead of out here. I don't know. We'll have to see how much room we got. It don't look like we have a whole lot of room, but we got to make it all fit, right? So let's get started on these front mounts and this firewall. Alrighty, well, we got the firewall cleaned up. Got everything that was unnecessary on there off it. Got our dash all disassembled. Heater core out. Alright, so I'll give you an idea of what's going on in my head with this mount. We're going to utilize that piece like I said. Fill it in the front and in the back. We'll box it in with metal and go ahead and weld it to the frame. Place this metal here, keeping the same hole location, and just bolt it right down through. So I'm just going to use all the scrap metal that came off of the S10. I got this little bracket, and we're going to cut our back piece out of this to go here. This, I don't know what it came off of, but I've already started working on this one. I got it bent to go in the front, and we're just going to weld that in there, box the back of it in, and then just weld the whole thing to the frame and bolt it in. So I went and shot the firewall with our rust reformer. Rust reformer is going to be our big friend on this project, I can tell you that much right now. I got it ground down, sand down, pretty good. I mean, I didn't go down to bare metal with it all because the rust is very pitty, so we're gonna have to, we need rust reformer. Anyway, you can see this better defines the areas, all the holes that we need to fill. This also better defines the areas that we need to cut out, fix and repair, whatever, whatnot. But you can see that the rust is so pitted that I could have ground on that thing all day and wouldn't have got down to where it needed to be. It's just a Frankenstein Willys. Let's keep on keeping on. I went ahead and got our pieces cut out. Got this one for here. Get right in there. Got our piece from here. And the back of the mount. We'll weld that in. Let me get this one welded up and get another one made, and we'll finally have this body bolted onto this chassis. We got a slight change of plans on this body mount situation. The parts of the frame that I cut off from the S10, these pieces here, in particular this piece here, is going to work perfectly shape wise. I got the bottom of that one cut out. It almost fits perfectly in that position. Of course, we'll have to get a body mount underneath that, or a rubber mount underneath that, but I think that's the way we're going to go. I'm trying to fit that. This one was just a little too big. I mean, the idea was there, but it's just a little too wide, and would have had to do a lot of, you know, too much time spent on it. This one here is going to work out perfectly, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other one cut out for that side. I'm thinking we're going to have to order some different body mounts because the ones I've got are too big. This is the style that came out of the S10, and there's no way to adapt it to that I can think of anyway. Yeah, so I think that's going to work out much better for us. And continuing on. Okay, 2 mounts are cut. Got to clean that up a little more. This one's still up on blocks. I got this one up on a jack. That's why I'm able to work on this one, but I prefer to wait till we get the new rubber mounts to position these where we're going to put them permanently. While we wait for our rubber to come in, while we wait for our rubber mounts to come in, we can go ahead and start filling some of these holes in this firewall. You can see it a little bit better today to how pitted this actually is. It's you'd have had to grind practically through that metal to get all that out, and there's just no way. So we're just gonna do the best we can with it. A little bit of work to do right here. A lot of holes, a lot of little holes to fill. This actually is where they had the battery in the truck originally. We're going to try to put the power brake booster and the master cylinder we got off the S10 on here. So hopefully there's enough room there to do that. I'm not sure about even putting a heater core in it. I mean, it's not like the thing's going to get driven in the winter time, not by me anyway, but that's a project for the next owner. I'm not really all that concerned about a heater core and heat in here right now. I did get the motor mounts in. Had to drill and tap a new hole. The bottom holes lined up, but the top ones didn't. I'm going to get 2 more bolts in there, and that should be good to hold that in without issue. Doesn't seem like we did a whole lot this week, but we did manage to get the body bolted in the back. See our fine quality rear mounts. They don't look like much, but they're good and solid. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. We'll finish up the front when we get the mounts for that. I do want to get going on this thing, so next week I'm going to try to cut these back rear quarter panels out, and it's just a matter of as soon as this thing is mounted solidly, we can go ahead and start cutting out floor pans and doing all that great metal stuff that I'm looking so forward to doing. I think it's probably where we're going to end this video this week. I know it doesn't seem like we got a whole lot done, but we did we got it moved along to the part where we can actually start doing the real work to it now. So as always, I appreciate you guys watching. You know anybody interested in a Willy's Frankenstein build? Because that's what this is turning out to be. Share the video with them. And until next time, man, take it easy.